afternoon, Mindsetters. Welcome to the revision shows. I'm quite excited and pumped up. We've got Lou in the studio, and he's also very pumped up in the studio. So the energy is going to be extremely high. I hope that you guys are excited. Llewellyn, what do you have for us today?
How you guys all doing? We're doing plant and animal responses to the environment. Now, I'm not just going to give you the answers to questions because that's pointless, right? I'm going to show you how to get it right. So hopefully, I've got Bonga, which is right there, you've just met her, and then I've got Colin, which you're going to meet later, and he's going to help, and I'm going to help him, and he's going to ask questions, and hopefully he'll just like come out of his shell and give it horns. Right, so Bonga, it's all yours.
Thank you. Today we've got Colin in the studio, one of the Mindsetters. You know how much we love interacting with you guys. So I'm going to hand it over to Colin. Tell us where you're from. Tell us why you're in studio today.
Hey everyone, I'm Colin from Zbuking Tendokwazi Secondary School. I came here because I love science and I'm a matriculant. So I love to watch Mindset and all that stuff. So I even have you guys on Facebook. So that's why I'm here.
We're quite excited to have you in studio, Colin, today. And what we'll be doing today is that, guys, upload your questions up on Facebook. It's www.facebook.com/mindset. And you can be on Twitter. It's @LearnExtra. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'd like to just wish Madiba and his family a speedy recovery. We hope that he'll be well and he'll be out of the hospital very soon. That's a message from Mindset. And Lou, over to you.
Thanks very much. Welcome, guys. Now, we're going to start off with a couple of questions. So what we've done is we've taken questions from a certain paper, right? And I'm going to show you how to answer it and what it's got to do. And I'm not just going to give you the answer because that's pointless, right? So I'm going to explain to you how we're going to do it. Now, if you have a look at all tests, we start off with the most simplest thing. Well, one of my friends always called it multiple guess because that's exactly what one of my boys did, right? Put C's down for everything. It's not like that. Right? They're going to trick you. You need to understand your things very carefully. Okay, read it carefully and eliminate the stuff that is not needed. Okay, so let's have a look at it. First question. Okay, it says here, drinking a large volume of water will lead to. Now, firstly, read the question, highlight the most important parts. So, large volume, okay, which means a lot of water. Okay, now, we take in water. It's going to go one place. We all know it, okay? We need to find out where's this water going to. Okay, it's either going to go to our skin for perspiration, right? Or it's going to go to, let's say, the bladder to get rid of it, right? Which is urine and all of that. And it's going to join in together, okay? But now, we need a response, okay? Now, a response is very simple. If I drink a lot of water, what is the body actually going to do? Can you tell me what a response means? Come on, put it out there. Very simple. It's
Please.
how the body reacts to what we have in it, right? Very easy, very simple. So it's the response that we're looking for. Now, hormones control our body, and we need to know what everything does, right? So if we have a look at it, when we want to get rid of water or when we want to keep water, we're having a look at specific hormones. And the one they're having a look at here is, if you have a look at the first question, it's the most important. We're going to look at every single question, every single answer first, and then we're going to give it horns and answer it that way. So let's see. ADH. Oh, pen again. ADH. Do you know what ADH is? Antidiuretic hormone. Simple. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I went all the way past A. In B, can you see it says ADH? In A, it says ADH, right? In C, ADH. And in D, ADH. Very simple. So we know in all the questions, we're looking at ADH and how ADH responds to a large amount of water in our body. Okay, now, the question comes down to is, what does ADH do and where does it go? Okay, ADH goes to your kidneys, right? And it actually does something to the kidneys to either absorb the water back into the body, saying, listen, we need water, so we need as much water as possible, or it's going to say, listen, we are drowning here, take water away, send it to the bladder, and let's get rid of it. Okay, so that's the two things we are looking at. Let's have a look at the first one. Okay, it says there in A, okay, all the way up, it's an increase in the production of ADH, and the kidney tubules become more permeable to the water. More permeable. In other words, water can move through it easily. That means, it's very simple, that the body wants to keep the water. It wants to keep it. It says it's mine, you're not having anything. Right. The next one, let's look at B. It says the decrease in ADH, and the kidneys tubules become less permeable to water. In other words, it's saying, let's get rid of the stuff. Okay. In A, you will notice on a very, very hot day, your urine is very yellow because there's not much water in it. On a very cold day, you go to the water very often and your urine is see-through, right? Okay. Now, this stuff, ADH, controls that. Okay, that's part of the control. It's not the whole control, but it's part of the control. Okay, and let's have a look at D. A decrease in ADH, and the kidneys tubules become permeable to water, and we've done C already, and what's A? That's it. So we've got all the answers. Now let me tell you this. ADH, right, it likes water. Okay, it says to the body, we need to keep water. That's what ADH does. Okay, so let's have a look at the first one. An increase in production of ADH. Increase of ADH. If there's more ADH, what's the body going to do? Keep water. So we automatically know A is not going to work. Just by that first sentence. Okay? B, it could be decrease in the production of ADH. So we got that. It could be that one. This is how you do it. Could be that one. We have a look at the next one. C, an increase in the production of ADH. We know automatically that's not going to happen. So let's cross it out. Okay, and the last one, a decrease in production. It could be. Okay, so it's either B or D. Simple, perfect, easy. Okay, now let's have a look at it. Okay, we need to think now. If ADH is keeping water, and we've put a lot of water in, which means we've got too much water, okay, we want to get rid of it. So now we're going to have a look at if those tubules are permeable to water or less permeable to water. Okay, so let's have a look at it. B says the tubules become less. That's a big thing. In other words, it stops absorbing water. Okay? And number D, it says it becomes more permeable, which means the water can move across it or come out of it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We want to keep it inside the tubules. So what is the answer? Can you tell me the answer there?
B.
B. Very nice, Colin. That's perfect. The answer is B. Do you see how I work it out? And I know that you're thinking this is very, very, very slow. But it's because I'm telling you about it and I'm explaining it. This stuff is how you should think automatically in your heads. Right. Okay. Let's go to question number 2. Okay. The sensory data supplied to the cerebellum. Remember, key words. Cerebellum is to use. Okay. Now, this is where it comes from. Now remember, there's 2 types of things we've got to look at. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the 2 types of the brains, but they sound very similar, so I'll get to that. First one, okay, it's voluntary movement. Okay, it controls the voluntary movement. Could be, right? Coordinates motor movement. Motor means to move. So what I'm doing now, as I'm walking and teaching you, that's motor movement, right? Okay, let's have a look at it. Provides continuous information on the muscular movement. Okay, that means it just keeps moving all the time. Let's see, what muscle moves all the time? Can you think of one?
Biceps.
Your biceps, but if I'm relaxing, does your biceps move? Not really.
Yeah.
What about your intercostal muscles? Do you know what a intercostal muscles is? Bonga, can you tell me what your intercostal muscles are? Come on, just shoot it out there.
I have no idea.
I'm even giving you clues. Come on, help me out.
Breathing.
Okay, breathing. Where would you find it? Inter means?
Inter in the lungs and the diaphragm.
Between the ribs, between the ribs, right?
Yeah.
The intercostal
Okay.
muscles are between the ribs. Very nice. Now that there, you keep moving, contracting, relaxing. Now that's what that means. It just keeps sending information. Contract, relax, contract, relax, contract, relax, right? And then the last one is controlling of the reflex arc, right? Now, you should know what the reflex arc is. Reflex arc is very simple, okay? A reflex arc is, if I took a ball now, right, and Colin is sitting over there and I just threw it like this, we'd go like that. That's a reflex, right? He's not going to be controlled by the cerebellum, right? Remember, that goes to the spinal cord right at the end, right? Goes into the spinal cord and back out. So that is not going to be it, first of all. Okay, now, if you have a look at this, you have the cerebellum and you have the cerebrum. Now, those are the two parts of the brain, okay? Now, the cerebrum controls your movements, right? So that controls the voluntary movements. So it can't be that one, okay? Controls voluntary movements. That's why you need to know about the brain. Second of all, if we have a look at coordinate, I will get to that one now, provide constant information, okay? That means it's moving muscles all the time, am I right? So it doesn't do that. That's the cerebrum as well, okay? The cerebellum, okay, it's very simple. The cerebellum does coordinating movements. So in other words, it gives you balance, okay? So the way that you balance and things like that, coordination, it's not just moving of the muscle, it's how far to move it, how close to put it, how to move. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? Colin, can you get it?
Yeah, I get it.
It's how it literally moves. I mean, movement, I could open my arm, that's a movement. But my cerebellum is telling my muscle, the cerebrum is telling my muscle to move. The cerebellum is saying, okay, move it this far. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or how high, or that is what the cerebellum does. Okay, so the cerebellum is B. Whoa, stay there. Okay, it is B. We get back to a pen. You should know me by now. I get mixed up with these pens all the time. Right, okay, so that one's that answer. Hopefully you guys are getting this. Okay, you're doing it a lot quicker than me, but I'm trying to explain it. Okay, next one. This is quite a cool. Let's have a look here. Question 3 and question 4 refers to the diagram below. There we go. So we got the diagram. Now, if you have a look at this diagram, it is not something funny like a finger bending, is it? Okay. If you look at this diagram, okay, this diagram is very important because they ask it quite a few times in the matric finals, right? The reason why they ask it is because this is the hormones for plants. And the hormones for plants, we look at specific ones, like gibberellin, abscisic acid, auxin, and what's the other one? Cytokinin. Cytokinin. All of those are the plant hormones that we get, right? So it's only 4. It's not difficult. I mean, it's not humans where we've got estrogen, progesterone, TSH and FSH and all of this other stuff. It's not the same. This year, 4 hormones, very easy to study. Okay, so let's have a look at it. This year, you have to look at the light source, okay? Whenever it comes to bending in this stem, you always look at the light source, okay? So, let's see. Light source is here. Which way is this thing growing? Upwards, okay? Light source is here. Which way is this thing growing? To the right. Very easy, very simple. Right, now we need to find out, or you should know, why it does this. Why does the tree, or the plant, or anything like that, grow towards sunlight? Okay, so we're going to talk about things like phototropism, okay, geotropism, hydrotropism. This is what this whole thing's about. So really get your head around that. Right, okay, so let's have a look at the question. Which growth hormone is mostly abundant, right, in the tip of these shoots? Okay, where there is a lot of that thing. Okay, so now let's see. We're looking at the tip, so this piece here, roundabout, and if you if you remember, or that piece you could say, if you remember very carefully, okay, the tip is where you find meristematic tissue, and that's growth tissue. Can you remember that, Colin?
Yes.
Okay, meristematic tissue. Bonga, are you with me?
I'm a bit with you.
You a bit with me. Oh, I better concentrate on you. Come on. Okay, right. This is where you find your meristematic tissues, which means it goes through mitosis and all of that. Right. So that's what you find there. Now, the hormone that you're going to find there, okay, it's very simple. It's one of these 4. Gibberellin, okay, it's gibberellin, it's abscisic acid, auxin, and cytokinin. Okay, they're very simple. Now you need to know what does what. Okay, so let's have a look at this. Gibberellin, this one over here. Okay, gibberellin is a very nice hormone. Okay, what it does, okay, it makes a plant grow in lengthways, right? But it doesn't make it, how do I explain this? It doesn't produce new tissues. So it doesn't make it grow in different directions or anything like that. This here, gibberellin, actually lengthens the cells in the internodes. You know what an internode is?
No.
Okay, if you have a look at a plant, right, you've always got a plant and it looks roundabout like that, right? If you look at a plant very carefully, okay, it looks like that. And over here, this is called the node. That's the growing point. You'll normally find a little bud here, a little bud here, right? Or you'll find a leaf over here. You with me?
Yeah,
okay?
I get you.
These are called the nodes. That's a node. What do you find between the nodes?
Gibberellin. No,
Yes, but it's called what?
gibberellin.
It's called your internodes, between nodes. Okay, between nodes, internodes. That's where you will find your gibberellin because it's trying to lengthen the cells, right? It's making them longer, so it makes the plant grow longer. Doesn't make the plant grow. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I get you.
Yes, Bonga?
I get you.
Good, I'm happy I'm with you guys. Okay, second of all, abscisic acid. To me, abscisic acid is quite cool because abscisic acid, abscisic acid, right? It's very cool. Yeah, that's better. Now we're getting some laugh. Abscisic acid, how do I put this? They stop things. They abstain. That's the word I was looking for. Abstain means not going to do. So abscisic acid stops plants from growing. So you normally find them in seeds, right? So when a seed has not favorable conditions or anything, they put abscisic acid there and it stops it from growing and it stays there. So you can keep a bean seed for years because there's abscisic acid there, nothing's growing. Okay, so if it stops from growing, would we use it in the tips? Definitely not. Right, so that one's gone out of the way. Auxin is what they call your growing hormone. So there we go. Same as gibberellin, right? It's a growing hormone. That one makes cells go through mitosis quicker. Okay? So that's all that is. Cool? And then cytokinin is a type of hormone that I want. Okay? I'd love to have cytokinin in me because why are you laughing? It's brilliant. Cytokinin keeps a plant young. Okay? It stops the plant from getting old. Okay? So what they do, for example, farmers, they will take cytokinin. If they want a leaf to last longer, they spray it with cytokinin and the leaf can last for a longer period of time. Okay? So how cool is that? So it's definitely not that. Hey, I'm lost it. Okay? There we go. It's definitely not that one. If I can get a pen going here again, it's definitely not that one. It's definitely not going to stop the growth. Okay? And it's definitely could be either A or B. Let's say definitely. But I'm going to cross off gibberellin and I'm going to tell you that auxin makes that grow faster in the tip. Up, down, left, right, you name it, it grows there. Okay, so you've got it.
Yeah, I got it, but I got a question.
Let's go, let me hear it.
Okay, like why does the plant have to grow like following the light?
Following the light, okay. Now, a plant is the producer. It produces food. It's the only thing on earth that makes its own food. We eat other things, right? So for example, we eat the plant. So we steal its food from it, right? We eat an animal that ate the plant. So the animal steals the food from the plant and we steal the animal's food, the animal as food. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Okay, so how does the plant make food?
Photosynthesis.
Very nice. What does it need? What's the key thing for photosynthesis?
Light.
Light. So we travel towards light because the more sunlight we get, the more we can photosynthesize. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
We're all happy. You guys get it? Bongo,
I
you
get it. But I've got something to add.
Let me hear.
With abscisic acid, doesn't it help keep it dormant?
Yes.
That's the other word, right?
Yes.
We could
Dormant.
use that. Okay.
That's it. Dormant
Cool.
means it doesn't grow. It stops. It moves. It like, dead. You know what I mean? It's like a rock. Okay?
Cool.
So it's dormant. That's a nice word.
Cool.
What did I say?
You said abstain or something like that.
Abstain,
So
yes.
I wanted
But it's
to
still-
Yes,
just
make it
relate
easier.
it.
That's-
Yeah.
So to me, abstaining means you not going to. Right, there we go. Cool. So did you all understand the auxin part and the gibberellin and the cytokinin and all of that? Hopefully you've got it. Right. So before I go on to the next one, right? get off the couch, give a bit of a stretch, you know, because we need you as much as possible. And I think we'll see you after the break. Wonga.
Yes, guys, let's go for a quick break, and I'll talk about the competition when we return. Thank you. Welcome back, Mindsetters. Now, talking about the competition, I'm going to say a mouthful now, so please just pay attention. We have Stop the Clock competition. How you do it, you have to go to www.mindset.co.za/learn/stop the clock. So, ladies and gentlemen, you get there, get an entry form, pick a number from 0 to 9, and if your number is the lucky one, by the end of the show, we're going to announce the winner. So be sure to enter, and then we're going to move on to Lou.
There we go. Hopefully that's it. You can see this is the page that you've got onto, right? So it's very simple and it's nice and easy. Just, I don't need to stop the clock yet, hey?
No, don't stop. We're going to stop it at the end.
Keep going. And remember, it's the likes. The more likes, the better it is, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
so tell your friends to tell your friends.
Okay, cool. So let's get back to the most important thing in the world, life science. Right, cool. Now, the next question is, after light is exposed from the one side, for several hours, where will the highest percentage of the growth hormone refer to in question 1.3 point? So let's first have a look at it. Okay, light, there we go, pen. Okay, we have light exposure to one side, several hours, right? And the question is the highest percentage of growth hormone. Where would you find it? Okay, so let's have a look at this question. Let's have a look at it. Now, this piece is very, very cool because auxin is the growth hormone. Okay, it's known as the growth hormone. The problem is, photo means light, right? So we're looking at phototropism. Tropism means growing, right? So it's phototropism, growing because of light. Okay, we're all happy with that, as long as you understand that. Now, it's either going to be 3 or 4, one of the sides, okay? And you would think, that this plant over here would send all the auxin here so that it moves that way, right? Okay? You're wrong, okay? Because think about it. I need to slow this side down and speed the growth of this up. Do you understand? So I send auxin to number 3, I send auxin to this side so it can grow faster. And I take it away from the side so it grows slower. You understand? So there's more cells being produced here, a little bit less cells being produced there. You with me? That means phototropism, right? When it comes to auxin, okay, auxin is negatively phototropic. Okay, it's negatively phototropic, which means it runs away from the light. Positively phototropic means it moves towards the light. So the stem is moving towards the light, it's positively phototropic, and auxin is negatively phototropic because it runs away from the light. Yes?
Okay, why does it have to run away from the light?
It's the way that the hormone is. The hormone doesn't like sunlight. The reason for that is, it's not the whole point of the reason. The reason is, if I move auxin this side, it makes the plant grow towards the light, and we need the light. We need the plant to grow towards the light. You understand what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah.
Okay? So it's very important that it's negatively phototropic. Yes? We're all happy? Okay, let's go. We need to get on to the next question. Oh, and we said it was number 3, right? So it is number C.
Yeah.
We're all happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
You all happy? You all got it? Okay, cool. Now, next slide. Okay. The following events occurred during the reflex action. Okay. Now, reflex action. Remember I spoke to you about the reflex action, and as I move across to this side, hopefully you're staying with me, right? And I just want you to think about it. Did you see that? That was beautiful. You see the reaction he had, right? That is quick. That is a reaction. Thank you very much. It was perfect.
Okay.
Right. So if I go back to the board, Jack, okay, I need to know how that works. What actually happened? Okay, so let's have a look at it. Okay, firstly, the effector produces a response. The effector, so the thing that I've got affected is going to do something. Okay, that's firstly. Yeah, the sensory organ is stimulated. That means the sense inside the fingers or the little pads at the end, yeah, of the sensory neuron, right? Those little platelets, right? They got a little impulse, right? Okay, cool. Then the next one, an impulse passes through a sensory neuron. Cool. We understand that. Then the last one, an impulse passes along a motor neuron. Very simple. Now if I have a look at it, I just had to put it into play. They want to know which of the following responses, or which is the way that it would work, the correct way, in which order would they be? Okay, so now let's have a look at it. You know what, I feel cool. Let me start at D and work my way up. Hey, what do you think? Let's change it around a bit.
Let's be different.
Cool. Okay, so 3, 4, 1, 2. Let me go here. Up. It was 3, 4, 1, 2. That's the first one. Okay, cool. Let's have a look. 3. An impulse passes along a sensory neuron. Okay, so let's make it go past a sensory neuron. Okay. 4. An impulse is through a motor neuron. That's cool. So it's gone up and it's gone back. Cool. Then 1. The effector produces a response. So in other words, the hand moves away. Okay. And then 2. The sensory organ is stimulated. Whoa, something's wrong. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Okay, something is a little bit wrong. So in other words, I'm going to move and it's going to run up my arm and back down my arm without me getting affected first. Something is not happening.
No.
Okay, so it's definitely not D. We're happy with that. Okay, let's go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, definitely not going to work because if we have a look at it, the effector produces a response. So I'm going to move as well before I even got anything. Okay, how's his hand going to move without the motor neuron telling it must do it? You with me? So it's definitely not C either, right? B, 2, 1, 4, 3. 2, 1, 4, 3. Sorry, I like writing it down because then I can see it. Okay, 2, the sensory neuron is, the sense organ is stimulated. That's cool. Okay, 1, the effector produces a response. Okay, so I feel pain and I move even before the electricity's gone all the way up, or the impulse has gone all the way up to my vertebra and all the way back. How's that going to work? Is it going to work?
No.
Definitely not. So it has to be A. So let's have a look how they did it. Let's see. 2, a sense organ is stimulated. So I prick my finger. Cool. Number 3, it moves up. There's number 3. Moves up a sensory neuron. So it moves up my arm all the way to the spinal cord. Cool. Then, let's see, number 4, there it is, an impulse passes along a motor neuron. So it's gone all the way up through a sensory neuron, gone all the way back down, okay, and then we ended off with 1. The effector produces a response. So my finger that was affected produces a response by pulling away. You see how it makes sense, right? Yes?
I get it.
Colin?
Got it.
Nice, we're getting there so nicely. Okay, and then the last one, when there is a decrease in body temperature, okay, so it's body temperature, there it is, which one of the following, okay, which one of the following pathways show the correct response to blood vessels in the skin? Okay, so, first of all, I need to explain something to you. On a hot day, where do you see your veins on your arms? Do you see them?
No.
On a hot day?
On a hot day,
On
I
a
see
hot
my
day,
veins.
You see your veins. On a
Yes.
cold day?
No, I don't.
So we got that already. So on a cold day, your veins are going back inside, right? On a hot day, they
come out.
coming out. Why do they do that? The blood is hot. If the air goes over the skin onto the veins, it cools the blood down. That's quite cool. Right. On a cold day, we need to keep it warm. It goes nice and deep inside. Okay, let's have a look. Decrease in body temperature. So in other words, I am cold. Decreasing. Okay, so the dilation of the blood vessels or the constriction of the blood vessels. On a cold day, dilate means gets bigger, constrict means gets smaller. On a hot day, what do you think it is? Can you tell me?
Dilation of blood
You say
vessels.
dilation. Okay, you say?
Dilation.
You say dilation. Now, dilation means gets bigger. Now, if I think about it, if I've got something that cannot move, okay, because your veins and arteries don't move along all over the place. They either get bigger or get smaller. on a hot day, to be able to see your veins, what do you think it's going to do to show up on the skin? It's going to get
Bigger.
bigger. So bigger means
Dilation.
dilate. If I am cold, the temperature of my body has decreased, what is going to happen? Am I going to bring my veins up to the surface?
No.
So what do I want the veins to do?
You want them to go inside.
Want them to go inside, which means they're going to
Get
Contract.
constriction. Okay, so we know that this part, you know me and these pens, this part is history. I don't need them anymore. Right, we cool. Okay, now, they constrict. Now, increase blood flow to skin or decrease blood flow to skin? Which means, think about it, am I going to send a lot of blood to the skin or am I going to keep it away from the skin? What do you guys think? I think it's very easy. I've explained it to you guys. I've already told you that on a hot day, we're going to send the blood vessels nice. You can see all blood vessels. On a cold day, I'm bringing it back. Why does that happen? Main reason, it's cooling down from the air on the outside. So what do I not want to do when it comes to this? I do not want to send blood to the skin. That's a negative. You can't do that. Okay? So we want to go here. You happy with that? Okay? We want to make them away from the skin. So let's see now what the answer is. A, B, C, or D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Is it 1? No.
No.
Is it 2? Definitely not. 3? Definitely not. Leaves us with number 4. So it is D. Nice and easy. We're all happy. Do you get it?
I'm
guys?
happy.
You
Yeah,
happy?
I got it.
You've learned something and we're
Yeah.
getting there. Okay, right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to go to the next slide so we can pick this up. Now, we come to, just before we start this, understand that your exam is divided into 3 sections. Okay? Your exam is an hour and 150 marks. Okay, you ready for this? 150 marks. Okay? 100 marks for section A, let's just say 100 marks for section A, 50 marks section A, 50 marks section B, 50 marks section C. A is very important. Okay? A is simple things. It is definitions, always. I mean, multiple choices, definitions. You've got to know your definitions to answer the multiple choice questions. And then, of course, this, where it says give the biology term or the biological term for the following statements, okay, or the biological word for the following statements, that's a definition. If you have column A match with column B, or pick A and B, or both, or none, okay, those things are all definitions. And those all work out to 50 marks out of 150. Okay, that's a third of your paper. If you get full marks for that, that's a third of your paper. That's full marks, and it's brilliant and it's easy, right? Learn your definitions. Okay, cool. Now, let's have a look at it. The movement of a part of a plant in response to gravity. So in other words, a plant moving either towards or away from gravity. Now, the way I normally think about that is when gravity, it pushes down, right? And we're talking about the earth and the soil and all of that. Now, if I think about a subject that does earth and soil and all of that, what do you think about?
Can I try to
You
answer
can
this
try
one? Tropism, something.
Okay, so he's got it right, he just doesn't know how to say it. Okay, do you know what subject? I'm not looking for the answer.
Okay.
What subject do we talk about when we talk about soil and ground and water?
Geography.
Geography.
Yes.
Very nice. Geography. So when I think about this what's called gravity, I think about geography. So it's geo. You'll make it in geo, right?
Yeah.
Geo, and then what does it move towards? Tropism. So it is geotropism means moving according to gravity. Hopefully I've made it. Can you get that now?
Yeah.
Can you get that? Was very
Perfect.
nice, very easy. Geotropism is, let's just see. Whoa, I need that one. Geotropism. Very nice. I hope you all got that and you all understood that. It's quite a nice question because it normally tricks people, right? Let's go. The iris muscle that contracts in dim light. The iris muscle that contracts in dim light. Okay? Dim light means there's not much light. Okay? Now, what I've done, it's very important, okay? I've done this for a reason. I have answered this one incorrectly. Okay, I've answered this one incorrectly, mainly because everybody knows that your iris is what type of shape? What shape's your iris?
It's round.
It's round. It's this colorful thing on the inside, right? It's a round muscle, right? Now, round muscle means you've got what type of muscle? Pick one. Circular muscles, right? So what I did was I made sure that they put your circular muscles in. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully. That is wrong. I did that for a reason. I made sure I put that down there for a reason. It is wrong, okay? You cannot get your circular muscles to contract, because if they contract, it makes your pupil smaller. And if it contracts and makes your pupil smaller, are you going to see if there's dim light? Hey?
Nope.
Not at all. So what I'm going to do is, if it's not your circular muscles, I want to keep you on your toes. I want you to give me the answer via Facebook or however you contact us. So I'm leaving that out. You got me. I do this every time to keep you guys on your toes. That is wrong, so look at it carefully. This one is completely wrong. I need the correct answer. Okay, so let's move on. The coiled tube in the inner ear that contains the sensory structures called the organ of Corti. Oh, that's difficult. That's not lacquer. Okay, let's see. Let's go through this again. The coil structure, that is very important. Okay, coil structure. What does a coil look like? A coil is like that. Hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
Coil is like that. Okay, cool. Right? In the inner ear, so we already know that it's not on the outside and it's not in the middle, it's right on the end, right? Right by the last piece. Okay? So it's the inner ear that contains the sensory structures called the organ of Corti. What does the organ of Corti do? Do you know? What does the organ of Corti do?
No.
Would you know? Organ of Corti, okay, helps with the sound. Okay, it relays the sound messages. Okay, so if I have a look at it, you're going to get, if I think about it carefully, organ looks like not the organ of Corti, but that thing's got a spiral. It looks like that. Now, if I have a look like that, and you do biology, and you think about an ear, right? This thing is the coolest thing out, okay? There's stunning videos out there on how that thing works, okay? This is called your, do you know? I'm going to keep asking them to keep them on their toes. This is called the cochlea. Now the cochlea, okay, there it is. The cochlea is so cool because that's where you get most of your sound from. Okay, and then, you all understand that. Don't forget my question I asked you, right? And then, let's carry on. The hormone that stimulates the secretion of thyroxine gland. The organ that stimulates the secretion of thyroxine. Stimulates the organ that secretes the thyroxine. Okay, so let's see. The organ that secretes thyroxine is your thyroid gland. What tells the thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine? Okay, here's a clue. TSH. Okay, TSH. And that is, come on.
Got it.
Thyroid stimulating hormone. That's the easiest hormone you get. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Okay, stimulates the thyroid to secrete thyroxine. Okay, and I think this is the last one. Okay, the microscopic gap between the axon terminals of one neuron and the dendrites of another. Remember, they don't touch. They come close together, but they don't touch. There's always a small gap. Do you know what the gap is?
No.
Do you know what the gap is?
Is it a synapse?
Very nice.
Synapse.
Well done. It is a synapse, right? The synapse is like a watery between them that sends the impulse across, right? There's chemicals happening in there that sends the image across, or the electricity across, right? That is called your synapse. Okay, now, I think you need a break. I definitely need some water from all this talking, right? And I think I'll see you after the break.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was fully packed. I'm going to give you a break, and we're going to answer some of your questions after the break. Enjoy. Mindsetters, welcome back, but I need to remind you, please go on to our website www.mindset.co.za/learn/stop the clock. Please go on and enter, choose a number from 0 to 9. You could be a possible winner of the C9 CD. So please keep on entering, guys. We need you to win. Over to you, Lou.
How's it? Now, before we go on that, let's have a look how the likes are going. What do you think? I think the more you guys see, the better it is. Right, so if I go there, that's what we were on, right? So I'm going to refresh it, and let's see what we're on at the moment. Okay, and there it is, 45202. So what is the number that we're looking for?
So guys, the lucky number for now is 2. So if you keep on entering, 2 might still be there, but we don't think so. So keep on entering, liking the page, then we get more people to win.
What are we looking for? The last number?
Yes, we're looking for the last number.
You never know. It could shoot all the way up. I mean, this could become a 1. Then we start from 1 again. So don't think that 2's passed now, that there's no ways, right? So make sure that you let us know and you keep liking. Right, there we go. So let's have a look at it. Questions. There was one main question, which was, everybody's asking?
Everyone is asking the difference between gibberellins and auxin.
Okay, auxin, okay, stimulates mitosis, in other words, creation of new cells. Okay, does that make sense? Makes new cells. So the more cells, the bigger it's getting. Okay, gibberellin makes the cells get longer. Okay, so gibberellin you find between nodes, so the internodes. The growing tissue, or the auxin, you'll find on your nodes to make new cells. Okay, so the tree can only get so big with gibberellin, but auxin can make it go sky high. Makes sense?
And then Troy is asking, he needs to know if more permeable to water means it keeps the water in the body.
Okay, now, permeable and not permeable. Permeable means it allows water through. Okay, you happy with that? Impermeable means it stops it. So a plastic bag is impermeable if it's got water in it, but my clothes, if I put water in here, it's going to hit the ground. It's permeable, it can move through. Okay, now if you think about it, you've got your Bowman's capsule, and then it comes through and it goes down the loop of Henle, right? And water inside there needs to be pulled out of the tubes and back into the blood vessels if you want to keep it. So permeable, if it is more permeable, the water gets pulled out of the tubes and taken back into the blood to go to wherever it's needed. If it's less permeable or not permeable, it stays in that tubule, goes all the way up to the collecting ducts and back out to the bladder. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah,
so when it comes to water, and we want to keep it, it's more permeable, keeping it, right? Less permeable, not. So more permeable, more ADH, less permeable, less ADH. Yes?
Thank you.
We're all happy. Anything you've got to say?
Nope.
Cool, Colin. Now, next thing we're going to have a look at, remember, hormones are the biggest thing according to us, right? It's what we need. Hormones are cool. So, let's have a look at this question, because we're on question 3 now. It says, blood glucose levels, so I'm going to do pen immediately this time. Okay, so if I have a look at it, it's very simple, okay? Blood glucose levels, so that's the thing we're looking at, and how we regulate it, right, by hormones, okay? Glucose, can you tell me what glucose are, right? Glucose is our energy source. Sorry, it's just irritating me a bit. Glucose is our energy source. Cool? So we need to know how we get glucose in our body. Now, what I did with my grade 11s is we did a blood test, and I pricked my finger and it was going mad, and we had a tin of condensed milk over here, and we checked it again, and how my glucose went up and how it dropped and all of that stuff. So we had a look at that. But how does hormones control it? That's the main function, right? Okay, so let's have a look. Human blood, the human body attempts to maintain the glucose level concentration of approximately 1 milligram per milliliter. Okay, so that's a little bit, it's not too bad. Okay, then it says the graph below shows the fluctuation of an individual's blood glucose levels after 5-hour period. 5-hour period. So let's have a look at that. Okay, I don't want to go too far. I just want to put it there. Let's have a look at it. Time in hours, right? So we're moving across. So of course it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. That's cool. And now we're looking at the blood glucose level. So how much glucose was in the blood? So if I have a look at it, the glucose levels increased, right? And then what did they do? They decreased. Then what did they do? Increase slightly and going down. So if I do it again, right, watch carefully. It goes up. I'm going to do it just above the white. It goes down, goes up, goes down, it goes up. Now, the reason, let's just say that we need to find out why it goes up, okay? Then we need to know why it goes down, and hormones control that. That's the most important thing. Hormones control that. So let's have a look at this, at the questions. Okay, from the information above, right? So there it is. From the information above and your knowledge of hormones, right? So you've got to have it upstairs here, which you do, I know, right? So your knowledge of hormones, name the hormone released at B. Okay, let's have a look. Where's B? There's B. Cool. Now, B is a very important hormone, okay? Because, let me tell you this, glucose, too much glucose is poisonous to us. Does that make sense? We need glucose for energy, but too much of it is very bad for us. Okay, so we need to add something in, right? We need to add something in to change the glucose into something that we can store it as, right? You're all happy with me? Now, you will notice that a lot of people get injections of it. So they get stuck here and there and going crazy. Can one of you tell me what that would be?
Diabetes.
Diabetes is the problem, okay? What are they injecting in them? Colin?
Insulin.
Insulin, very nice.
Yeah.
So insulin is got to be B, has to be, because the insulin level changes the glucose, right? It takes the glucose out of the body, right? Not really out of the body, I'm just trying to explain it. It takes it and it changes it into something completely different. Let's see if you were right? Oh yeah, forgot, button. Okay, there it is. It is insulin, very nice. Insulin changes the glucose into glycogen. Okay, glycogen is a storage mechanism of glucose. Okay, and then when it's, so the second one is D. Let's go up to D. There it is. How do we change the glycogen back into glucose? Because now we're too low. We need energy, so we need glucose. What do we use? What do we use? Do you guys know? Anybody know? Think about it carefully. What do we think it is? Do you know it yet?
Nah.
Nah, you don't know it yet. Okay, it's very simple, okay? It's insulin changes glucose into glycogen, right? And glycogen gets changed back into glucose via glucagon. Okay, glucagon is the second one. Okay, so you're getting it. You need to know this, right? This is the negative and positive feedback mechanism. It's a loop, right? First, you eat your supper, right? Your energy levels spike up. It changes the glucose that we don't need into glycogen, right? Then when we need energy, it puts it back into the body to change it back into glucose so that we can use it. And if there's too much glucose, it changes it. Do you understand? It's like a cycle all the time. Right, so those are very important. Next one. The individual ate a meal at point D. Now, that's very important. Point D. That's where we're going. So just remember, I'm going to grab a green here, and I'm going to highlight the D. That's where he ate the meal. Okay, cool. Very, very important. Okay, and it says, explain the pattern of the graph for the next 2 hours. For the next 2 hours. So let's see. I'm just going to go back up. I'm not even going to look at anything else. Right, so we ate it here, right? So it is 1 hour, it is 2 hours. So up to there and no further. Okay, so let's see. What happened first? What happened from this hour? Here, we increased glucose, then we decreased it, and then we stopped it there. Okay, that there. So if I took it up there, that's where we decreased it. Can you see the point? At the end of the decrease. Okay? Now think about it carefully. I was explaining that just now, right? What did he do there? He ate food. And when you eat food, what does the body do? It grabs all the energy or all the glucose from it to try and keep it in our bodies, right? It puts it all into glucose. So we spike the glucose levels up, right? That's why when you eat, you might feel tired for a while because you just, all the energy is going to your stomach and your intestines to get all the stuff out. But later on, you've got a lot more energy. That's why you have to eat. That's why sports people eat 6 meals a day, right? Because they need all that energy, right? So it spikes it up nicely. When it's nice and high, something is added. What is added? Okay? Same as here. What happens? What gets added at E? Okay? It's exactly the same. We have insulin. Because insulin says, hold on, there's too much glucose in our body. Let's take it, right, and store it for later. Because I promise you later, he's going to get up and he's going to run around the house driving mom and dad mad. Because that's what I would do. Right. So that's how I do it. Right. And I know this from my son because that's what he does. Right. So that's what happens there. Let's save it for later. And when it gets too low, what do we add? We add glucagon. Why glucagon? We don't have enough energy. Let's just use our reserve energy. So let's see if that is the answer. All the way down. There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. For the first hour after eating, very important. I want you to say for the first hour after eating, right? First hour after eating, okay, the glucose levels increase, which we said gets higher and higher. Why? Because as we take it in, we're making it into energy and ready to use, right? We want to change things into glucose. Glucose is what we need, okay? Then, the hormone insulin was added, right? Or secreted into the body, into the bloodstream, right? And that changes or converts the glucose into glycogen. Can you understand where I'm coming from? Glucose into glycogen. The storage mechanism, right? It's like putting it in the freezer, yes? Store it for later. Mm-hmm. What's the point of cooking 7 chickens if we've just bought it wherever, right? 7 chickens, let's cook all of them. Is that going to help, right? Because they're going to go off if we don't look after them. So what do? We store it in a freezer, right? Becomes the block hard chicken which you can like play tennis with or something, right? So, cool. Now, we need to store it as something. What do? We defrost it when we need it again. But otherwise, we put in the freezer. Now, glucagon is like putting glucose in the freezer, and when we want to change it, we take it out of the freezer and it defrosts, and it becomes glucose again. Can you understand where I'm coming from? Does that make it clear?
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
Makes sense.
So that's cool. So puts it back into glucose, which results in the glucose levels dropping. Can you understand why it's dropped? There's too much. The body's saying, listen, we're not using all of it, so let's store a bit. Don't use all of it now. We've got to run later. Okay, so we go and store it, right? And in the second hour, there it is, in the second hour, once it's dropped and it's got to a certain point, what happens? We add glycogen again. Glucagon. And what does the glucagon do? It starts increasing it. But remember carefully, it says for the first 2 hours. So let's read what it says, which results in the glucose level dropping. In the second hour, which happens between hours 3 and 4 on the graph. So, look here. Between 3 and 4, hours 3 and 4, what is happening? What is happening between there and there? The glucose levels are dropping. So, do you need to mention anything about glucagon? No, because only after 4 hours does it start increasing again. So, don't waste your time with that. Read your questions carefully. Okay. Yes, we're all happy. Has anybody got an answer for me?
Yes, actually, that's very exciting. I was also very excited to tell you. It's Nikhil Nix Diolal. Please forgive me for your pronunciation.
You got to say that again. That is the most awesome name I have ever heard.
It's Nikhil Nix Diolal.
Diolal. Nice.
Yes.
Cool.
Forgive me for the pronunciation. Okay, he says he's very precise. 2.2, the iris muscle that contracts in dim light. He says that the radial muscle contracts. The answer is, this is so because it allows the pupil to allow more light inside the eye to focus onto the retina.
Okay. Which muscle? Say that again.
He says because it allows the pupil...
What muscle contracts?
Oh, the radial muscle.
Very nice.
Radial muscle,
The
yeah.
radial muscles, not the circular muscles. Okay, the radial muscles. Remember, I'm going to show you quickly. Okay, the eye consists of little, let's say, little pieces like this, right? There. Now these here are circular muscles, right? And to make this hole go smaller, that hole goes smaller, they contract pulling it in. You understand? Okay, now these ones here, the radial muscles on this side, that's between them, right? Okay, when this pupil is small, they pull the pupil in this direction so that it opens up. And these muscles pull it in that direction. So can you tell me how those muscles work? It's very simple. Can you guys tell me how those muscles work? It's very simple. I'll give you another muscle type that works similar. Bicep and tricep. What is the action called? It's called? Come, Colin, give it to me. Come, choose something. Can you give me something?
Please repeat the question.
Okay, the question was, these muscles work opposite to each other, right? And if they work opposite to each other, it's like the bicep and the tricep. They work
Antagonist.
Very
I can't
nice.
remember the word. I have
Can
it,
you
but
remember it?
Antagonist. I can't remember.
antagonistic.
Yeah.
Well, when
must-
the other one contracts, the other one
Relaxes, and the one contracts, the other
other
one
one
relaxes.
relax.
Do you see how they work antagonistically to
Yeah.
each other? Very nice. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. I want you to have a look at this. We've just answered this question. I think you need an ad break because I need water again and I'm jumping up and down here for joy. Right, it's all yours.
That was a fun-filled session, guys. I hope you guys, your energy is up. You're going to go out for water, stretch out, come back revived and revitalized so that we could go again with Lou. Enjoy, guys. Welcome back, Mindsetters. I've had my glass of water. Lou has had his. Colin has had his. I'm quite excited and pumped up. Remember to keep entering. We're about to stop the clock very soon. Over to you, Lou.
Cool. Are you ready? Right. So the next question we had a look at is a little bit longer, right? We need the longer questions as well because they're important, right? They're the ones that's going to give you marks. And this is where you got to think quite clearly. Okay, so let's have a look at it. The diagram below shows the cross-section of a human ear. Let's have a look at it. Cool, cool, cool. There it is. Now, remember we spoke about that funny spiral thing. Let's just have a look at it. There it is. Can you see? My drawing wasn't bad. Eh? Can you see it? There it is. Right?
clear.
I think my drawing was good, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So at least I've got a good memory, which you guys also do. So now they're going to have a look at this and they're going to ask you simple questions of it, right? You need to know your diagram. You might not need to know how to draw it, but trust me, the minute you draw something or you put your hand to paper and you move it, right? Your brain starts thinking and it remembers, right? So it's always good to do a drawing, right? And don't sketch it. It's a simple line, right? Labels on the right-hand side, get your labeling done right. Okay, so let's have a look at the question. Identify part B. Identify part B. Well, there's A. It's these funny little things. To me, I always call it a pretzel. You know what a pretzel is? It's those funny little biscuit thingies that go and they salt in it, and they bend like this. And it's so cool, right? Okay, so here we go. Clive. What are these funny little pretzel thingy shapes? What are they? These ones here.
I know their functions, but I don't know them.
You don't know the name
I
of them?
don't remember the name. I remember the functions.
Okay. So then you tell me what the functions are of that specific part. Can you tell me what the functions are of that B structure?
Okay.
Simple.
Transport sound.
No, transport sound is this piece here. This funny little thing over here, this pretzel-like semicircular canal. Right?
Yeah.
These funny little pretzel thingies help me stand on one foot, right? Help me go and ski. Help me
Balance
go
and equilibrium.
balance and equilibrium. Very nice. Skateboarders, all of those brothers, right? The surfers, you name it. This thing is very important because there's a liquid in there and the liquid moves like this. And as the liquid moves, it tells the brain, listen, but move the body in opposite directions so that we can have balance. So that's got to do with balance. And it is called your, what is it called?
Semicircular canals.
Very nice. Semicircular canals. Very nice. I know I whispered it to you earlier, but I don't know about it, so don't stress. Right. Okay, that was B. Number C. We need to know what C is. C. Look at this thing. It's in the middle of nowhere. Right? Now, that thing there, right? You know when your ears feel like they blocked. Wait, I've got a better one. You know when you're driving down to the coast, or if you're climbing on an aeroplane and your ears feel like they blocked, right? This thing comes into big play, okay? That thing there is a tube, right, that is joined to the back of you. And it's actually quite a flat tube, okay? And what happens is the minute you yawn, you open that tube up and you let air in or air out. So the pressure on the inside of the ear can be released, or the pressure on the outside of the outside of the ear can be pushed back in there so that you can equalize the tympanic membrane. Okay, so that is what this thing's function is, right? And it gets rid of liquid and rubbish and all of that stuff. Okay, cool. So what is this thing called? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. Do you remember?
I don't.
Come on, somebody needs to help me here, right? This thing is called your gestation tube. Okay? There it is. Your gestation tube. There we go. Right? The function of that, right, is to make equilibrium in the ear, the inner ear and the outer ear. Okay? If, for example, let me just say, if this is the middle ear, well, not the middle ear, if this is the ear, the outer ear, right, you're going to get your tympanic membrane here, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here you get your inner ear, right, with your eustachian tube, right? If this pressure here is even with this pressure here, that's what you normally feel like. But if this pressure is too much, right, what do? We yawn, and this little arrow, this pressure goes down this tube, and then it makes it one all on each side. So that's how you equalize. That's why when you go underwater and you feel your ears are being pushed and it's burning or whatever, you stick your nose and you blow, you're sending air up the eustachian tube and it's pushing your tympanic membrane out and equalizing the pressure. It's called equalizing underwater. Cool. Did you all get that? Do you understand that? If you don't, please send a question and let me know so we can sort it out immediately.
Well
okay, cool. Now, next one. What does structure A consists of? Now, come on. Structure A. This thing here. Now, structure A is trying to tell you this piece, not that, this piece here. Okay? Just that piece. Okay? Look at the question. Read the question again. Nice and simple. What does structure A consist? Big word. Consist of. Okay? What? Consists means I don't want to know its name. I don't care about its name at the moment. Okay? That's not the questions. The question is does it consist of? What makes those things? Can you remember what makes them? It's a simple thing. What makes it? They're actually the smallest ones in your body. There we go. How's that?
They two bones.
Sorry? They are what is it?
There are two bones. I don't
Okay.
remember.
It's a what? Forget about number. It's a... What's it made up of? What is it? It's a... You said the right answer. Don't doubt yourself. Come.
I said they are two bones.
Okay. So take the two away. What is it made out of?
Bone.
There we go. That is the answer. Consists. What? What makes it? What is it? Is it cartilage? Is it muscle? Is it bone? Is it skin? Is it hair? Is it perfume? Is it something? Right? What makes it? It is bone. So let's see if you are right. Bones. They are just bones. There are 3 bones in there. They work together. Okay? Now, I want to know. Here's a question for you. What are the 3 bones? I'm not going to tell you. And I want them in order, right? Okay, very important. They are the smallest bones in your body. Okay, cool. So send that through. I want to hear from you in a few minutes. Okay, now, this is a cool question. Okay, this is a nice question. One of my friends sent it in. So this is a good question. Okay, explain. Okay, now when you do this, if I can remember, let me move that over there again. That's it. Okay, explain how a structure of the ear, so what the ear looks like in and out, okay, affects the capturing, right, and the amplifying of sound. Now, you need to look at, you know, people don't understand. When you get a question like this, you always look at the verb. Now, I know this is not English, right, but I'm going to make it simple. The verb is a doing word, which means an action. So what is your action here? Okay, your action is explain. I'm going to explain it. So tell me about it. Tell me how the ear captures sound. Tell me about how we amplify sound. Right, so that's how easy it is. So what I'm going to do, Cloud, come up here. Come stand here right next to me. Come, I'm getting you involved. Come here, come here. All the way. There we go. Now, Cloud is my specimen, okay? Because I can't do it on myself, so that doesn't help. Now, turn slightly. Okay, now, this here is your pinner. Okay, now, your pinner is quite cool, right? If you've got a pen on you, please can I steal your pen there? There we go. Right, so now, you've got the pinner. Now, have a look at the pinner. You see this groove on the inside, and it goes all the way around. So, sound, watch carefully. Sound comes along, it hits the ear, because remember, it's like a bucket. It goes up that groove all the way around in and into the hole. Can you see how, now if his ear was flat against his head, right, the sound would just come straight past, right? If it comes out slightly, what happens? The sound hits it and goes up and around. That's the key of the pinner, okay? Pinner makes sound go into the ear, okay? It channels it through the way the ear is shaped, all the way into the whole of the ear. So let's look at the first question. Thanks, cousin. Right.
Lou?
Yes.
Are we done with the question?
Almost. Not
Almost.
even close.
After that, we need to stop the clock. After the question.
After this question,
Yes.
we're stopping the clock.
Yes.
Do I need to speed it up or?
Yes, please. After this, like 4.4, we need to stop the clock.
Okay, cool. Now, explain how the structure, which we explained, how the structure, right, affects the capturing of sound. So we've already got the capturing of sound. Now the question is amplifying the sound. Now, this might not sound this will be strange, right? If I've got a large area of sound, right, it doesn't sound very loud. But the minute I take that large area and I put all that sound in a smaller place, think about it. If I go to a nightclub, right, and I take their speakers and it's loud inside a huge hall, right, what happens if I take those exact speakers and put them just as loud in your bedroom? That's the question, that's the answer. You will break everything. You'll blow everything. There's just too much sound. So we've taken the same amount of sound that's in a big area and we've moved it into somewhere smaller, and what happens? It becomes louder. Okay, so that's firstly. So if I'm taking from the size of my pinner, the big area, and I'm putting it into a small hole, what's going to happen? There's going to be more pressure, sound waves move more, right? And it's going to go against the tympanic membrane, and the tympanic membrane is going to vibrate even more or bigger, right? And then once that starts vibrating bigger, it means the sound is amplified. Then we're going to go up those bones, which I'm not going to tell you the name, you see I don't forget, right? And we're going to go to that little hole, which is called what?
Oval window.
The oval window, very nice. The oval window, which is even smaller. So that means it gets more amplified and it goes into the cochlea and does its job. Can you understand how that works? So let's see. Oh, come on, I was in a roll there. Anytime. There we go. Okay, let's see. The pinner directs the sound into the ear, right? There, the pinner directs the sound into the ear. All the way. Oh, wrong one. There we go. The pinner directs the sound into the ear, right? And it channels it all the way in. Very simple. Okay, let's see. The sound moves from a large area into a small area, which increases the pressure that vibrates the tympanic membrane. Okay, cool. And then the greater the vibrations, the louder the sound. Now that's just on the outside to the middle ear. We need to also do from the middle ear to the inner ear. Now that's the big thing. Okay, so we cool. Now,
Lou?
Now we need to
before
see.
we go, 2 seconds.
Yeah. Now we need to see who's the lucky person.
Okay,
Let's
so
refresh and see who's the lucky winner
refresh.
for the C9 CD. I
Refresh.
hope the entries were in.
4.
Oh, lucky number 4.
224.
Yes. So it's lucky number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah. The person, the lucky winner of the draw is going to be
It's going to be.
person.
How did you know it was lucky?
Wow, Lou. So the person, hopefully there's someone lucky. Let's try to quickly. Let's
try.
go quickly to 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, you wanted to ask me a question.
No.
You didn't.
Let's
Any
get to the
other
next
answers?
question.
Okay, go. Not yet. Not yet.
No
Not
answers
yet.
for my bones.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay. Explain what would happen if structure D had a hole in it. Hole. Come back. Structure D had a hole in it. This question I'm going to give to Clive because I'm sure Clive knows this very well. Clive?
Colin.
Sorry,
Colin.
I'm going so mad, Colin. I'm so sorry, but you can see I've got Clive. I've got a good friend, Clive, as well. Sorry,
Okay.
Colin. This piece here, this is structure D. This piece here, it's called the what?
It's the
Tympanic membrane.
tympanic membrane.
Which is also called, can you give me a name that everybody else calls it? Think about it carefully. It's the ear,
Mm-hmm.
and it does this. What's it called?
Eardrum.
Very nice. It's the eardrum. Cool. So what happens if I have a hole in the eardrum?
If you have a hole in the eardrum.
Yes. Think about it. We've got the sound coming in to this ear here, the outer ear goes in that hole, into that tube, and it comes to where the tympanic membrane is, or the eardrum, right? And it's got to vibrate, right? It's got to move like this as the sound comes. What happens if I put a hole in here? What do you think would happen if you have a hole in here?
While he's thinking, we got Glad Moses, who wrote Hammer, Anvil, and the Stirrup.
Oh, you are so perfect.
And quite a few people also answered the same answers. Emmanueline, Matodidzi, yeah.
Very
So-
nice. That's brilliant. That means you guys are studying and you've just written exams, I'm sure. So
Exactly.
wow. You know what? You guys must keep this up. Did you get my answer? Can you get an answer?
Nah.
Okay, so let me get this right. Okay, if I have the tympanic membrane that does that, right? And the tympanic membrane can either move that way. So if the sound is pushing it, okay, it's going to push it inwards. Am I right? Now, if I have a hole in it, where's that going to go? Straight through. Am I right? Okay. Is there going to be any vibrations?
No.
Remember that the tympanic membrane is joined to the 3 bones. Okay. The anvil. Okay. It's joined to the anvil and it vibrates the anvil. Every time it moves, it vibrates that anvil. Okay. So if this thing doesn't vibrate, do I get the anvil moving?
No.
No, there's no way. And if I cannot get the anvil moving, what is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen?
Deafness. Permanent deafness.
Not permanent. Doesn't have to always be permanent. They can fix that.
How?
Okay? For example, they've got a thing where if there's too much pressure on the inner ear, right? And there's like pressure and there's goo and gunk, and a lot of kids have this, right? They go to the ear, eye, nose specialist, ear, eye, throat specialist, or something like that, right? Yeah. And that guy, the ear specialist, puts a thing called a grommet in. Now what a grommet is they make a small hole in the tympanic membrane and they put this little tube-like structure in so that all the rubbish from the inside of that ear can come out. Right. So they pull that out and the tympanic membrane can seal itself again. It does fix itself. Or they most probably can sew it up. I wouldn't know. But I'm telling you now, if they can put in a cochlea into an ear, they can fix a tympanic membrane. Okay, that's nice and easy. Okay, the tympanic membrane will not be able to vibrate. Okay, so if it doesn't vibrate, okay, it'll send sound waves to the middle ear, resulting in deafness or hearing impaired. You are right, but not, it doesn't have to be long term. Cannot be forever. It can be fixed. You get me? So normally you will notice when people go into a fight and they get smacked on the ear and then the blood comes running out, they've done something to that tympanic membrane. That's why it rings and goes mad. Okay, so let's
Lou,
carry on.
Lou,
Yes,
so let's say you know this jelly-like substance that you find in the ear.
yes.
So what if it blocks those bones, like so that there mustn't be any vibration?
Okay, the bones move freely with each other. They've got ligaments that join the two. Okay, that liquid there, the kid doesn't hear properly because of the tympanic membrane can't move, and that's what that jelly-like substance does. It doesn't allow that to move. Okay, it doesn't mess around with the anvil, stirrups, and stapes. Not at all. Okay. Now, yeah, question 5. Question 5, which is very important. Okay, this is a good question. Now, this question has got to do with a pencil. Okay, and they say what they're going to do is they're going to have a look at the distance of a pencil with the curvature of the eye, right? Now, that is so cool, and I'm going to rush through this piece so that I can actually get to it. Okay, so instead of reading this whole thing, I'm going to tell you that they're going to take a pencil and they're going to move it in different lengths while covering one eye and have a look at the length of how the what's that thing called now?
The pupil?
No, not the pupil. The lens on the inside actually works. Okay, so let's see. We are looking at specific things. Let's have a look. And here they go. Distance of pencils and curvature of the lens. That is what they're looking for. Very, very simple. So let's have a look. Let's go to the first question. What is the dependent variable? Second, what is the independent variable? Dependent means, okay, it's very simple. Dependent means I depend on something to do the experiment. The independent one means doesn't matter. Nobody's needed. So if I look at the independent, right, if I have a look at the independent, it is, let's go, my independent variable would be the pencil distance from the line, and the last one is the curvature of the lens. Okay. Okay, so guys, that's about it. Bongani, it's all yours.
Hi guys, I'm so happy. The studio was beautiful. The atmosphere was great. I hope it was also full of joy for you guys. And now thank you, Lou, for coming. And Colin, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Sorry for putting you on the spot, but that's why you're here. You're a mindsetter.
Please,
And the winner of the competition Stop the Clock is Apindile Ngwevela. We thank you so much for entering. Congratulations. You are winning the C9 CD. Enjoy. It's coming to you. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.